Hi guys! In this, the final video, I'm going to run you through the finishing stages of a mashup. I'll share some general thoughts on actually getting to the finish and knowing whether you've made a successful one, as well as being able to tell when it's actually finished. Then I'll show you how to export your mashup so that you can use it in your DJ sets. So firstly, some ideas on getting to the finish. While you're working, if you start to feel any doubt about your mashup idea or how you've arranged it, it's best to take a 5-minute break or work on a completely different mashup for a while and come back later. This might sound like procrastination, but it's actually just part of the creative process. If you start banging your head against the wall and going around in circles, you're not going to make great work. In fact, your decisions are going to get worse and worse. So if you're in a hurry to get a few mashups done, it's a great idea to switch over to a different one. Once the memory of how that mashup goes fades from your mind a little bit, the next time you hear it, you'll be able to hear it fresh, making it feel like you're hearing it for the first time. I can't emphasize enough just how much clarity this gives you when making decisions. If you keep coming back to a mashup and you find that it just will not work, it might be a sign that it isn't meant to be. If you need to employ 10 of the strategies that we've gone through just to make one transition work, the two elements probably don't belong together. Either that or the arrangement is just not working. Things should feel natural, and the less work you need to do to make it sound good, the more confident you can be in the original idea. If you keep getting caught up on little decisions like whether to make a transition longer or shorter, or to chop out more 8-bar sections from the mashup, err on the side of being more spacious, at least to begin with. The audience will react better to longer music that works than they will to fast-paced ideas that change so rapidly that they're confusing. The most important thing is to make sure that every transition and every important moment in the mashup is well and truly nailed. If you have doubts about a moment, you're going to feel nervous playing it on the dance floor. The best thing that you can do to make sure you don't lose objectivity is to rewind back a fair bit and listen through so that you can hear a moment in context. When you think you've finished the mashup, you should be listening right from the beginning all the way through to the end. This is so important. You need context to be able to tell if a moment is fully nailed. If you feel like your mashup might be finished, go back to the start of the track and hit play. Something I often do is play the session in the background, but cover up the whole arrangement area with a text editor where I'll then make notes. That way I can see the time references or bar numbers, but the arrangement is hidden from me. It's best to listen on speakers for this rather than headphones. You're going to listen right from the start until the end. But for this last critical listen, you need to change your mindset. Instead of listening for creative ideas to add, you need to stop being the producer and become the audience. As the mashup plays, feel the music and notice whether anything jumps out at you as too abrupt or confusing. Does anything pull you out of the moment? If you hear something that needs changing, don't stop the music. Quickly write it down and keep listening. Once playback is finished, go back and fix everything on your list. And then listen through once more again. If you're happy with it, check through once more, but listen on headphones. This time, you're just listening for clicks, glitches, and pops that can occur while editing, usually where you've created splices in the audio. It also helps you catch warp settings that might not have been set 100% right. It's important to do this last check on headphones because the glitches are often hard to hear on speakers. Once you're sure the edits are clean, it's time to export. Make a selection on the arrangement page to tell Live what you want exported. Remember that in your session, the mashup might not necessarily start right on 1.1.1 or end at the last audio clip. You don't want an extra minute of silence sitting at the end of your file, or any leftover pieces of audio files you kept at the end of your timeline. More importantly, you don't want to select the wrong sections and accidentally cut off part of the track. The easiest way to make sure you get what you want is to make a selection using the first and last piece of audio in the mashup. Zoom right out and click the very first piece of audio, which should be your intro. Then, holding Shift, click your very last piece of audio, which should be your outro. Don't worry about which tracks or clips happen to be included in that selection. Because you're going to the export function, Live will only be paying attention to the time that's selected. Now that you've got your selection, go to File and click Export Audio/Video. In the dialog that opens up, make sure the following settings are selected. Most of them will already be set by default, but check anyway. have your rendered track set to master, render as loop set off, file type as WAV, sample rate 44,100, and bit depth 16. That will give us uncompressed CD quality audio. Set your dither options to no dither, and convert to mono off. To keep things organized, make sure you export to the folder that your actual session is in. In the export dialog, Live automatically directs you to the last folder it exported a file to, which usually happens to be the last mashup you worked on, so just be careful. Also, make sure you name your file properly. Label all the necessary information in whatever order works for you, but stick to the same format with every mashup. Make sure you include the key. I would suggest something like the title of the song first. In brackets, I'd declare that it's your mashup, then the key at the end. If you like to have the original artists' names in the file name as well, put them in too. In the future, it's likely that Ableton Live will allow you to export straight to an MP3 format, and if that's how you like to keep your DJ music, that's fine. Of course, there's always an ongoing debate about the fidelity of using CD quality WAV versus MP3s, but I'll leave that decision to you. If you do convert to MP3 so that you can fit more tracks on whatever storage you use on the road, make sure the MP3s are 320 kilobytes per second. Any lower than that will sound awful when played out. If you're doing your mashups in batches, then I'd recommend you find a fast batch converting application to convert groups of files from WAV to MP3. On Windows, I use a very useful free program called FlickFlack. Once you've set it up right, all you have to do is drag the files you want onto the window and it will create an MP3 copy in the same folder. After that, you can copy your finished MP3s or WAVs into the rest of your DJ collection. How you organize it into your sets from here on is totally up to you. But I do think it's worth keeping your own mashups separate from the rest of the music in your collection, because often you might want to perform updates on your mashups after hearing them out for the first time, and it's handy to find all your own mashups in one place. Anyway, that just about sums up all the mashup techniques. These videos were made for following along with the book How to Make Great Music Mashups, the start to finish guide to making mashups with Ableton Live. If you want to learn everything else there is to learn about mashups, check out the book. It includes detailed guides on the necessary musical theory, how to pair up great music combinations, understand key, tempo, bars and beats, and time signatures. It shows you how to prepare for mashups by finding the key of all your commonly used songs, setting up a solid acoustic environment and choosing the right audio gear, as well as showing you how you can become super fast at making batches of mashups by reusing old combinations with new elements so that you don't have to start from scratch each time. You'll also have access to heaps of resources including scale charts, checklists, and even an Ableton Live mashup template. Head over to makegreatmusicmashups.com to find out more or to get a copy of the book. So thanks for joining me in these videos, and I hope you'll be able to make use of these techniques to make great mashups. Thanks for watching.